Righto folks, I've been promising a bit of a rundown on our 105, so we're going to go through that now. Try and cover everything, there's a little bit there, and we'll see how we go. So I'll start at the top. We've got the Rhino platform tradie roof rack. I like the tradie because it's got the sides. I prefer to have the sides on a roof rack so I can tie stuff to it. Some people prefer the flat platform. Either way, whatever your preference is. Obviously up there I've got the Max Tracks, the shovel, the 50-inch light bar at the top. Nice and bright of a night time, more for lighting up the potholes and that in the bush. And on this side we've got the CampBoss 270 Boss XL. Amazing awning, love it. It's as solid as. I can swing off it without even having the poles on it. We've had that up in some pretty rough weather without the poles, and it works really well, performs really well. Round the back here I go around to the drawer system, which I'm still working on. We've got So I've got the full setup here. I bought these drawers to stick in there. I was going to rip all this out, and when I brought them home I sat them on top and I actually went, you know, I kind of like that idea. So I've left the old ones in the bottom at the moment. They're a bit rickety, but they do the job, you know. And I actually don't mind the idea of having this tub. That's all my recovery gear. I've got my tool bags in the back, my spare parts, the axe is in there. I can slip the chainsaw down there as well. So yeah, anyway, that's a work in progress. In the back there I've got a 120 amp hour lithium battery. We've got 40 amp DC charger going in, so that's nice and charged while we're traveling, so we pull up. So essentially just while I'm on the batteries, we've got 120 amp hours of lithium there. We've got a starter battery in the front, an auxiliary battery in the front, and in the camper we've got 240 amp hours of lithium. So man, we got plenty of battery power. We don't use the inverters a whole lot. We don't plug a lot of 240 stuff in. But anyway, yeah. The Emuwings, love them. Absolutely love them. This is going to be my full electrical. This is all be built in here. So this will be where my DC charger, camera charger for shelves and a few little drawers and that go. As I say, that's still a work in progress. In the back we run a King's fridge here, 50 litre. It performs really well, never had a problem with it. We run that on deep freeze, cryovac our meat. We go away, we go away for long periods, and we go off grid for long periods. We prefer to be off grid, away from the crowds. We fill that up with cryovac meat and supplies, and that little fridge just cranks along, loves it. And obviously just while I'm standing here, we got the big CFX Dometic there. So we got plenty of fridge space. We use both those compartments as our fridges. As a fridge, we don't normally freeze in those, and we just keep the King's one as a dedicated freezer. So a little bit about this build that we did. It's a tourer. I've built it as a tourer. So I've tried to keep it standard for a reason, but modified at the same time. So you could call it, I call it a bit of a sleeper. I don't want to draw any attention from the boys in blue, right? We travel all over Australia and we can't afford to be getting pulled over and told that we need to make some changes. So it's pretty standard, all the mods that we've done, within reason. Wheels and tyres. I went through a whole pile of rims. I just couldn't make my mind up. So I've stayed with the factory Toyota mags. They're an 8-inch rim. They're ROH, so they're good quality. And I've put the 285, 75, 16 Toyo Open Country ATs on there. These are the 3. Not a bad tyre so far. We give them a bit of a flogging. Again, it keeps me under the 33-inch tyre. I don't want to run, a lot of people go, why don't you put great big 315s, blah blah blah, 12.5 inch? We don't need to run that. We do a lot of highway work and we don't need those great big tyres on there. I've been full driving a lot of years, and I reckon I could put this thing on those tyres just about any place most other guys and girls go. So up the business end, we've got a 5-inch stainless snorkel from in-house Fabrications, seamless, short entry, hooked up to the in-house Fab high volume airbox, and really gets that engine bleeding. Okay, engine. She's a 1HZ, but we pulled her out and built a brand new engine. My good mates in at Currie Brothers Engines in Taree. If you need a build, man, those guys know what they're doing, so give them a call. So she's a full turbo spec 1HZ, brand new crankshaft. I didn't go the billet crankshaft, I don't need to. I'm not driving it that hard, so I put a brand new crankshaft in it. HPD Garrett 2860 Gen 2 turbo, obviously top mount intercooler, and it runs really well. We've just dynoed this one recently. My good mates at Currie Brothers. 127 horsepower and about 360 newton meters of torque thereabouts. So not off the charts. I don't need 300 horsepower. I've been involved in motor racing my whole life and building engines. What I did is my trade. I did my trade at Currie Brothers 35 years ago, and then went out into the world. Anyway, so yeah, 127 peaks. It pulls that camper trailer without a problem up the hills and without a worry. It cranks along, and we've got that reliability. Again, it's a tourer, not a race car, and I certainly don't know why you need 300 horsepower four-wheel drive. 127 is plenty, does us fine. Okay, behind that engine, so brand new engine, brand new turbo, everything's brand new. We put in a brand new Extreme Performance A442F from our good mates at Wholesale Automatics in Melbourne. So the Extreme Performance Auto is all the heavy clutch packs, the Nomad valve body. We put in a steel billet torque converter with lockup, which comes in really handy for pulling that camper and four-wheel driving. We use the lockup quite a lot in the bush. And man, with that gearbox matched with that turbo spec engine, yeah, she really cranks along. She goes really good. Currently running about 20 pound boost, by the way, at full noise. But obviously boost, etc. You only get what you ask for with your right foot. So I don't always use it, but it's there when I need it. Another little point on the engine, we put in, as you've seen on one of our other posts, the big truck fan, the Mitsubishi fan, with the big centrifugal hub. And she roars when she needs the air. My main concern is keeping everything cool in hot weather, climbing big hills like the Victorian High Country, low range, no airspeed over the radiator, where everything relies on that fan to pull that air through. And so far so good. So in the cockpit, not a whole lot to sort of talk about. I've got the JRP digital gauge, digital dash there, which gives me all the information that I need. It's obviously got the little controller down there, torque converter lockup down there, and then I've also got engine guard. So for the temperature on the engine temps, coolant temps, I'm actually running a sensor for engine guard on the thermostat housing down the bottom of the engine. 1HZs have the thermostat on the bottom hose. So I've got a sensor there, I've got a sensor in the top hose, and I've also got a sensor hooked up to the cylinder head where the original temperature gauge sender unit is. So I can see exactly what's going on with that coolant temp when we're doing hard work on the Simpson Desert, etc. So I can see I can see from the top hose and the bottom hose, like that tells me exactly what the differential is and how well the radiator's cooling and how well that fan's operating. So it gives me that. I can also see what's happening in the cylinder head. I know exactly what's going on. Other than that, we've got the phone. We've got two handheld UHFs and the little UHF over there. We're about to put a roof console in. I run the HX2 HEMA, which I'm not going to recommend. If I was going to talk to my friends, I'd say don't get one. So on the to-do list, we've got the 2 diff locks going in, front and rear diff locks. That should make it really capable. I should have done that by now, but we just haven't got there. We've been travelling too much. But yeah, that's something coming up. Bull bar, Ironman bull bar, just a set of King Spotties. I have never had a problem with the King Spotties for the price. They perform exceptionally well and have never let us down. So nothing to complain about there. And the 12,000 pound winch in there as well. Suspension. She's a 2-inch lift. Probably actually went nearly 3 in the rear end. However, I did that intentionally because, as you can see, when the camper's hooked up, the camper sits perfectly level, which is what I was aiming for. We can pull up and not even have to touch the camper. We can pull up at night very quickly and jump straight in it and go to bed without having to level things up and muck around, as long as we can find a little bit of level ground. So just on the Emuwings, I actually went for the black aluminium. We do carry a fair bit of stuff in the back, including I do a little bit of hunting, so a little bit of extra security. I mean, if someone's going to get into a car, they're going to get in there. So it just puts a little bit better security there, a bit of a deterrent, I guess, and also temperature. It's a lot cooler in the back there with those aluminium Emuwings. Absolutely love it. One of the best things I ever bought. I was a bit unsure at first, a bit hesitant, but once I put them in and I installed them myself, very easy to put in with a little bit of know-how and a little bit of time. Just take your time. Yeah, love them. I'd do that again too. That's a good thing. So that's the 105. She's a good truck. It goes hard. It goes really well, and pulls that camper trailer without a problem. We can snort along. I can snort along at 110 k's, and if I need to get past someone doing 105, say, I can put my foot down and be doing 130 in no time. In the Northern Territory, where that's the speed limit, right?